should say, who we think is going to win. Deep, which side of the fence are you currently set on?
It's close. It's tough to call. Both teams looking extremely good, especially because EUNITED actually won the first series in groups, right? But I think Envy's going to take it. I think the experience, they look better than ever. To be honest, we were doubting them after their Vegas performance, but obviously this is a true test of this Envy lineup. And with the way that Apathy and JCap in particular are playing today, I think they're going to take it.
It's definitely going to be close. Mr. X, one word, who do you think takes it?
I think EUNITED comes out on top.
That was more than one word, but you're saying
EUNITED comes out on top. I do.
Momo?
EUNITED.
EUNITED as well.
Okay. Well, smart man, Momo.
I believe the game is actually ready to get underway. Team Evius, EUNITED, MLG Primetime, over to the wonderful Courage and the excellent Maven.
Thank you, guys. We're primed. We're ready to go. Yeah. This is going to be fun, man. You know, I talked to Cap, Slasher, and Apathy before this, kind of what went on in their first series. Remember, it was 3-1 victory for E6. We'll talk about it more as we go, but they've already matched up. EUNITED. Why do I call them E6? EUNITED, EUNITED.
All I know is JCap trolled you when you asked him those questions. You're like, what went wrong? He was like, they won 3 maps. Yeah. We won 1 map. And you're like,
they got more kills.
John, Apathy, help me, guys. But we do have a key player matchup heading into game 1 of our winners bracket final. It's simple. You win this, you're in the grand final. It's guaranteed a top 2 placing. Apathy and Gunless. Apathy, monster last year. Gunless, the new talent this year.
I think it's safe to say that either of these players, depending on result, could be considered for your Control Freak MVP.
Okay. Okay.
If Envy were to win the tournament, Apathy gets it right now in my eyes. If EUNITED were to win, Gunless gets it in my eyes. Both these guys have been monsters, man.
People were talking a lot about EUNITED. We all know the whole onliner story. Certain pro players I asked said they are going to bomb out Atlanta. They're going to be terrible. Other pro players said these guys are going to finish in your top 4, their top 3. While they're there right now, can they keep the magic going? EUNITED have yet to drop a series this weekend. Envious, on the other hand, they lose to EUNITED in pools, now looking for revenge.
And the only map that Envy was able to take was a 6-1 victory in the Game 2 Search to Destroy. So a complete sweep in the respawns for EUNITED. And talking to Cap, he said, you know what, we threw away game 1, we got out to an early lead, and we kind of, took the foot off the neck. We let it go. They got blown out in the second hard point, so you need a better start here from the boys in blue.
It is time, folks. Game 1 of your winners bracket final. We're watching Slasher off the break as he challenges towards the top window.
First gunfight coming in, able to tag up one, but you can see on X-Ray, a little bit of a dip and a dive away. Long-range shots there. You're able to hit those with the NV4, but ultimately his teammates now cleaning up the kill, and NV gets set up top mid first.
Christini, another name that's new to the competitive Call of Duty scene for a lot of people. Yes, he's been competing for a little bit over a year now, but really coming to the forefront in these last couple of events. Envy up 18-0 off the break and throwback Hardpoint. What a dramatic map we saw between FaZe and Optic in this last series.
Well, I know for us, it's tough to follow all of the up-and-coming players and amateur teams. We have to, as much as the research we do, talking to players, you have to focus sometimes on the top 16, right? But I was reading last night, they've been playing Arsenes and Pristini, a duo all the way back to Ghost. So these guys have been playing together for a long time, but now playing on the biggest stage and showing what they can do.
And the big thing, too, with this squad is Silly is basically the leader of this team. I sat down and talked to EUNITED for about 30 minutes prior to this whole tournament starting, and I said, what separates you guys more than really the rest of the teams coming this weekend? Silly said our dedication to practice and how much we grinded for this event. He said, what, 2 of them had like strep throat, 1 of them had like a hospital visit or something, and through it all, they basically didn't even take a day off. They kept going at it, they kept scrimming, and it shows now with this top 3 placing, looking for more though. With him,
he's probably going to be irritated that I tell this story, but I went to use the restroom between breaks, and I heard someone. It sounded like they were throwing up. No, it sounded like they were throwing up, getting really sick in the stall.
Really?
And I'm like, are you all right? I didn't know who it was. Silly comes out. He's like, I'm struggling. I can't breathe. My throat's been hurting me. I'm trying to battle through it. So Silly really not feeling well, trying to battle through that on Championship Sunday.
Well, I mean, I hope he feels better, but if EUNITED need to, I'm willing to play.
Yeah. You hop on in there, Gunless will backpack you.
I just need to spray paint my hair white like Silly and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like he thinks he's Daenerys Targaryen. I don't know what he has going on there. But 50-30 lead for EUNITED early on. Gunless leading all Slayers at 8-6. He has been, again, an MVP contender throughout the course of this one, and we'll see if he can keep it going. And both Hardpoints go their way in pool play. They're looking strong.
We were talking with some of the Rise Nation players back in the green room, and they were talking about how certain teams just don't run. it's basically their equivalent of flak, right, in this game, that blocking those Scarabs from doing the damage that they normally would. Well, at the start of this game, everyone did, and Scarabs are kind of falling out of the meta. Since then, you know, people have started to stop running their flak, and now you see how it's completely making a difference. Scarabs are back and better than ever, really.
Well, yeah, it seemed like as much as we saw the HC used last year on Black Ops 3, it seemed like people thought this one was a little slower, a little bit more floaty, didn't have the maneuverability necessarily. Yeah, we saw them disappear, but they're back and certainly making an impact this weekend. But speaking of impact players, you got Gunless, 13-6 on a 5 streak. He's got one coming from the front, one to his left as well. He'll ultimately get gunned as John picks up the kill. But if he's going to continue to play like this, it's going to have to be Apathy or John. I think that, I mean, okay, I know JCap can do it. He's been a veteran. He's been that guy forever, but you don't usually maybe want to see him as your top slayer on your side?
It's just not his typical role on this team. He's a guy that plays a little bit more passively, lets his teammates do majority of the pushing and clearing out of lanes. 73-61 right now. You talked about how the last time these teams met up, EUNITED did not drop a respawn against Envious. And it looks like they're going to try to keep this going now as they're up by about 20 seconds. And Gunless is just so on point. 16-8, double positive off the break of this game.
He hasn't slowed down. The main stage has not shook him. You thought maybe day 2, that match against Splice, he was going to get some nerves going. That didn't affect him. Playing FaZe this morning didn't affect him. Now, Sunday evening, when it's all coming out, guaranteeing yourself top 2, still just seems completely unfazed, man.
Well, the big thing, too, for this EUNITED squad is, yes, they have some inexperience in these major LAN events on the main stage, but they come into this weekend with a tough pool. They go perfect, not dropping a single series. Then they reverse sweep on the main stage, which gave them a ton of experience there. They've basically done everything they can to mentally prepare themselves for this game. Now they just got to execute.
I'm curious, from your who we have left, obviously, in our top 4 with Envy, EUNITED, LG, and Optic, what surprises you the most?
Geez, I mean, I predicted EUNITED to be in my top 4 for this weekend, so I can't say I'm surprised there. If anything, I would say possibly Optic Gaming. I mean, the run that they've now gone on from the spot that they found themselves in earlier today to now having taken down FaZe, which I wasn't even sure if they were going to be able to do. It's been 2 years that they've been losing to that team on LAN. Now it's finally happened, and honestly, I see that steamroll continuing in the losers bracket.
They are certainly on a roll, but back to the action here. 20-point advantage for EUNITED. They haven't been able to bury Envy. They've kept themselves around. We'll see as Silly now playing through Grandma's house, peeking into the back there at Lime. Gonna get backed up. The nades coming through, enjoying a little bit of watermelon. I never noticed that there.
Well, that's one of my favorite parts of this map, the baby carriage. As Gunless will peek on out with the camo, use that to break the hill. Makes a lot of sense. Nearly snaps onto Slasher, but he's got the help there of Pristini to at least leave some of the push for now. But as I say that, JCap cleans up 2. One of the largest leads yet for EUNITED in this game at 30 seconds. But what do we see with Envy and Luminosity in their match earlier on? Envy, who were really in a position where they were always down by about 40 seconds. They kept it close, and then in the end, they brought it back. It didn't wind up turning out for them, but they brought it within 5 towards the end of that game. Let's see if they can do the same thing here on throwback. Nice stop there by Apathy, showing off the shockwave yet again.
And this has been a really nice hold here from EUNITED. They're extending this lead. JCap's trying to break in the back and secure the final seconds, but now it's going to be the rotation. Is everyone heading down to the bottom side of the map? And look who's there first. You see those red arrows, 5 and 7. That's to be Pristini and Arcides. The brothers set up to hold down the bike path. Pristini watching the lower side, saw a shadow for just a second, peeks the corner, nice play, tries to dip behind, not able to find the second kill there as Envy gets a bit of a break. You still see 5, that was Arcides kind of hanging around there, lurking a bit, but finally ends up dropping.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting that pinch to come in. He actually had a player top ticket, a player hitting from middle, and somehow one player from Envy sneaks to sidewalk to at least contest towards that hard point for the moment. Another shockwave kill from Apathy, continuing to improve his use of that throughout the weekend. It's been fun to watch. 138 to 111 now. Envy slowly clawing back into things.
Yeah, no one really able to push any distance for these spawns. Again, it reminds you, it kind of tracks on Black Ops 3. You have to really push both sides to get any kind of firm control. So it's just been a back and forth bloodbath. But take a look at the minimap now. You see 8. That's going to be Gunless at the top of your map. You have 5 Arcides rotating over as well. They're set up now for the statue, for baseball field, where you can rack up a lot of time. And this couple hard points in a row where we've seen the early rotation from EUNITED, and it's been paying off.
And they're in a beautiful spot. Arseny's getting a little bit ahead of himself there, peeking outside that bowling area, but thankfully his teammates still have that blue spot. Look at the top of your minimap. Red arrows continuing to supplement this hard point. Finally, one player does spawn on out, so it's going to be Arseny by himself trying to hold off Envy. He gets two, and that's the magic EUNITED have had all weekend, Maven.
Yeah, I mean, if he loses that gunfight, it turns into what, kind of a 2-on-2 as they're sprinting towards the hard point.
Yeah.
But by him winning that, it delays the 4-man push from Envy. Now they're trying to fly in, but they're set up and ready to attempt the hold up. Only one player remaining, and Gunless has gotten it done. This has been a flawless hold thus far at Statue.
Gunless and Arseny's there in a 2v4 scenario, somehow wipe out all of Envy.
Look at this flank.
They're even keeping it close.
Flank.
They've got FTL jump now ready from Silly. EUNITED at the end of the second rotation will be up by 70 seconds, continuing to show their hardpoint prowess this weekend.
This would be 3 hard points in a row over Envy. Where are you going to find the wins? I mean, S&D, they did it in the first series. You're going to have to do it in Uplink as well. I believe we're going to Frost. And one thing Cap did say, he said they're weak at Frost, but they played it 4 times this weekend. So you got to improve, right?
Yeah, they definitely have to. Another thing as well, Envy, I think, still undefeated in Search and Destroy, right? So,
I believe so.
That's the silver lining if you're a Boys in Blue fan, is even if you do drop this hard point, you've got that to fall back on. I mentioned it a few times today, but it's so rare to see such an incredible stat line like that. Apathy with reactive armor. Where does Envy begin to come back into this one now? John, 19 and 27. He had a slow hardpoint start to the series earlier today, now happening again in this game 1.
And, you know, we talked about the fact that Apathy or John need to come alive here and kind of match the slaying of Gunless, but look at the kill feed. 2 more for him. He's 34 and 22. He's also leading every player in the lobby in objective time at 1:12. Again, MVP performance from him.
NB4 in the hardpoint. Flasher, whoa, does actually get the kill on the Pristini. And that'll open up his opportunity to push towards this bottom bike path side with his teammates. And Arseny's looking, he realizes that, was going to push that field. I don't know where callouts come in. Hey, there's 3 hitting Lemon and Grandma's side. We got to reset our focus. As now the push comes in, you've got JCap flooding into the hard point. Does get the entry kill. Silly now popping that FTL jump. And again, the Evo being brought out by Silly, one of the few players this weekend to use that gun.
Yeah, I mean, really, another player maybe I've seen it from, and he's been effective. He's not dominating per se right now, 23 and 28, but he's been doing a good job playing that aggressive role with the SMG in those close corners. But EUNITED still holding on to a 70-point advantage now, looking to shut down this game 1 ultimate. But Pristini was the last one, so these final 15 seconds should be going over to Envy as we'll begin the rotation now. Who just spawned up? That was number 2. It's going to be Apathy, who got a nice spawn at the bottom of bike path and maybe set up to win a couple of key gunfights here early on.
I was actually surprised to see EUNITED even pushing for that hard point. They send almost 3 players through underpass. Finally, Gunless, the last one there, does get the cleanup kill. Now Apathy's all by himself on the map. Gunless nearly at 40. We've got to swap to Gunless for a second. Can he get that 40 bomb in game 1? 1 kill off camo as well.
He's doing such a good job in this slaying role right now, trying to stay alive in this close corner, picking up time as well. Again, still leading in the objective. Gun's one that tries to push him. Stay out of my hard point. Finally ends up falling, but the numbers speak for themselves as 16 points is all that is needed here for EUNITED.
70-second lead for EUNITED. They're closing in on a game 1 victory. They would be 2 maps away from a grand finals appearance. Probably the first time ever for, what, any of these players? Yeah. Silly ever make it there?
So. God, maybe like season 3 playoffs in AW, something like that, like a relegation tournament, but no, not the big ones. At least I can think of it at the top of my head. The FTL jump comes in, flashy play there, but is it enough for Envy? It doesn't look to be that way, as EUNITED should be able to shut it down, potentially behind the camo here from Gunless.
Gunless should camo through this underpass area when his teammates spawn up, and they should go for the win right now on this baseball hard. 40+ seconds would bring Envy within about 15, so not a comfortable spot to be in. Camo pop, not happening yet. He's feeling confident to go for it.
I think because his teammate dropped right before him, like maybe he wants to use it kind of with the 4-man push. Had he used it there, I think 2 teammates dropped basically at the same time. He didn't feel comfortable about it. But if you let all this time go in, be what, 2:30, 2:40 game, you're right back at it. Now it's going to be the camo pop as he's trying to get the break. Can't find a kill yet. Ultimate will. 41 tries to wrap back. 41 kills in for him. The break is there. 3 points needed. EUNITED gets it done.
We talked about him in our key player matchup, Gunless, saying, hey, Apathy, anything you can do, I can do better. 41 kills. on map number 1, as EUNITED are 2 maps away from making it to the grand finals of the CWL Atlanta Open.
And what do you do if you're Envy? I mean, you've lost 3 hard points in a row to this squad. You obviously haven't figured out how to beat them in a respawn.
I know what you do. You at least start by winning a search and destroy like you've done all weekend. I think it tells a much bigger story if Envy lose this first S&D to a team like EUNITED. That could spell disaster going into an Uplink Game 3. A 12-minute long game there with really a huge performance from Gunless and Arcides. Again, these 2 players continuing to stay white hot.
And one interesting thing to consider, maybe for the future, talking to Aqua in the back, he was saying something along the lines of, like, if anyone that's scrimmed EUNITED the most, it is Optic Gaming. So if they get to a position to play them in a losers bracket final or maybe a final, they have a lot more experience than some of these teams do. Is EUNITED, man, they seem to have everybody's number right now.
And what was also mentioned was that's basically who they learned from. All the time scrimming Optic Gaming, you're learning from Optic Gaming, and, well, you're learning from 4 of the best players in the history of Call of Duty. Here's your MLG primetime replay of map number 1, as it started off with Envy again, doing what they can to get any little bit of time, but as the game went on, it was just EUNITED continuing to expand on this lead. End of the first rotation, every bit of, 20 seconds. Then as it sets up for Train, it's only about 10 seconds, but then from then on out, EUNITED took over, and Gunless just kept going up and up in the kill feed. There he hits 20, and later on, he hits 41.
You know, you see these games in Respawn where maybe a player has a really big half of Hardpoint, or a really good set of rotations, a really good half of Uplink. He kept going, like, never slowed down. Just keeps racking on the kills, held on to a consistent, 5 to 10 kill advantage of anyone in the lobby. What is it about it makes him so strong? I mean, I want to speak to his gun skill because that's what stood out the most to me, but obviously it's more than that, man.
Every player I've spoken to asks, what is it about EUNITED that's so good? People just say, they're an anomaly. Like, they have, their communication isn't on the same level as other teams. Maybe some of their gun skill at times can be lacking. It's just something about the squad that works, and it just doesn't even make sense half the time. Here is a look at your Hardpoint breakdown. Maven, biggest things that stand out for you.
I mean, Barn, we saw it a lot as Envy was desperately trying to fly in and get the break. You crushed them there, and not only do you beat them inside a barn, but you also win that battle. It seemed like whenever Envy would get the break, there was 15 seconds left, you'd see EUNITED spawn out, and they'd be set up for Bike Path as well. They rallied those 2 together beautifully, and that's where the difference came for me.
Barn was a big hard point for EUNITED as well as Bike Path, but now we'll go into Game 2, which will be Search and Destroy on Retaliation. John, he's been electric in the game mode this weekend. Apathy right there as well, but John with the sniper can definitely be a difference maker on this map when you go towards that top bedroom window. Obviously looking over bridge.
He's that crazy scope that freaks me out.
It's actually overwhelming.
It just looks like a big spider. I don't like it.
You don't like spiders, buddy?
No, I do not.
It's okay. I'm here for you.
But yeah, Envy has to get this one done. You just think with how they've been slammed now, 4 overall respawns in a row, if they don't win this, it's done. I mean, you never want to call it over, but just with how EUNITED has been playing, you can't feel good about them. And so the first hard point they played in the last series, it was pretty tight, JCap said. The second one, they got beat by 120. So that's a pretty big blowout for world champs. They don't feel good about the hard point against them at all.
Whew, it's got to be worrying for Envy, but looking now at this rig draft, active camo brought out by JCap again. FTL jump ready to go from Slasher and Silly.
Oh, one more note too. Just you mentioned camo, made me think of this. We saw Gunless with the last second camo dunk in the uplink to beat FaZe. That's the same thing that we saw happen to beat Envy in their uplink. So something to keep an eye on. It's been really, I mean, Gunless has been fantastic with camo and Search and Destroy. We saw the 1v3 he had early today. We've seen him also get it done in uplink, especially in clutch time. So keep an eye on him. He has been one of the best in the business using that this weekend.
Well, I'm ready for Game 2 to get underway. Search and Destroy on Retaliation. I'm looking at the screen right now. Before you guys get to see it, I already spot a sniper being brought out, but it's not on the side of Envy. It's one of our more impactful players on EUNITED from map 1. It's going to be Arcides.
Well, we'll see off the break what Arcides is able to do with this sniper. You got to think if he makes an influence, John may be busting it out as a counter, and he's going to have vision pretty quickly. Can he get the snap? Just barely misses the shot.
Whiffs the second as well. He'll have to back on up. Look for some assistance from his teammates as they recognize, hey, we could definitely push this guy out. Almost for the first engagement. That's where the submachine gun is so good from John.
Yeah, and you saw, I think, a player like Josh from Splice. That's the area he would kind of navigate with that ERAD, absolutely dominate. This is a scary position with the sniper. What are you going to do? 3 players flying at you. Another kill with ERAD. A nice start from John, who's 2-0. You don't want to keep feeding him because if this guy gets warmed up, he can just destroy.
This engagement is huge for Pristini. He's able to cut down Slasher. Does he challenge the bomb? He does it. He knows. All right, nobody on it yet. Only 18 seconds left. It's a pretty obvious area to be in, though, if you are silly. Beautiful shots there from JCap to close out the round. Envy go up 1-0.
You know what's interesting, too, to think about? I wonder when the actual switch happened, but with seeing JCap with camo, how many 1v2s did we see from John with camo at Vegas? I think I casted 3, so he was a beast with camo in the Search and Destroy specifically. Obviously, they got to feel better having it in JCap's hands.
JCap, one of the smartest players. We were busting his chops a little bit earlier. We were talking with him as he likes to troll. That's just what JCap is at the end of the day.
I mean, we're as casters, we're friends with a lot of the players, but we have the green room in the back where we watch the matches, and some of the guys like to come and hang out, and it's always nice to pick their brains. JCap was back there for an hour and a half as we got to talk to him a little bit about this matchup and how he feels the tournament was going. We watch Optic face with him. He was also losing his mind a bit. But now, for Envy, you've got 2 remaining. It's going to be Apathy and Slasher here trying to get a second round. They are able to find 1 kill. Might be able to turn this into a 2v2. This would be a huge clutch in a 2v4. As Slasher almost puts some shots in his teammate, going to find himself all alone. The last 2 in front, but can't close it out.
Cannot close it out there. Our Cities and crew, nice job by them to bounce back from a round 1 loss. Here's a look at how it got done. Our Cities decides no more sniper. The NV4 is such a good weapon. From watching it this weekend even more, it seems like players, less and less times I'm seeing players sliding into gunfights with an NV4 from up close. Well,
yeah. That's another thing, you know, speaking with Cap, you know, he talked about his disgust, he hates the NV4. He'll use it in Search and Destroy. But if you think of JCap's playstyle, wouldn't the NV4 seem perfect?
Well, yeah.
He doesn't really like it. Likes the K-Bar a lot more, just likes the maneuverability. I mean, obviously, in the current Jetpack Call of Duty, he has been pretty good. He's back-to-back COD Champs victor.
Cap is the world's greatest jetpacker, as Tom will go down right away from Pristini. They just decide to go for it, and hey, more power to them. It's what a team like EUNITED does. They just catch you off guard with plays like that. Again, the opening 2 kills for EUNITED. Envy fighting from the back foot. It's all off the Cap in the 1v3, and this time around, it's not going to work out for Envy.
I know you got to make plays there, but that challenge soaring through the air against somebody using the van as cover, you're not going to win that gunfight typically.
No.
But, you know, time not on your side. And here we have Pristini closing it out inside of Hotel. And this would be, again, never want to call the series over, but if Envy drops this match.
I will tell you, we have seen Envy go up, be even for a long game, go to round 11s, obviously start from behind in these Search and Destroys, and they always come out on top. So I will not count Envy out in this S&D until EUNITED defuse that final bomb or get those final kills to win.
I more mean just if they lose the Search in total, this series just becomes so much scarier if you are an Envy fan. But we are watching Slasher. John has already fallen as he pushes inside, not able to take the first gunfight.
Slasher, what can he do now? As again, Envy, they just keep getting first blood in these last 3 rounds. That's been the difference for me. As it's not like they're just getting first blooded by 1 kill. It's been like an easy 2-piece off the break for EUNITED, and then Envy players are left basically saying, okay, where do we try to convert things from here? Slasher just going to possibly try to earn himself some score towards that FTL jump. As he's down to just 40 seconds, and still has to plant the check. Oh my goodness.
Getting bullets in just about everybody. And look at the game that Pristini's having so far. That 7-2 already has the ability available, and they're feeling good. EUNITED continue. I mean, if they haven't proved everybody wrong, there's still somebody asking the question here, which I don't know how you would. They keep showing you how tough they are.
Is it Silly's hair that makes it possible for them? Is that the difference?
It's so strange.
I think that...
I'm going to dye my hair white.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll make a major impact on your look.
I'd look the same.
All that would change was your eyebrows and beard color, because the rest is gone. Getting into round number 5. Gunless again with this objective, and this time Envy saying, no, you're not getting a free plant towards this B side. We're gonna at least contest you a little bit here. Or A side, sorry, as Pristini will be the first to push on up with reactive, and I would love to see him use this here to open up this back side of the map.
If he realizes there's 2 in the back, he has got a huge play that he can make here, and what a lead 4-1 would be. Just waiting on the calls from his teammates, biding his time. Did you take a look at the minimap? That is still Slasher sitting all the way there in back graves.
If they spot him, if his teammates spot Slasher at that back Humvee, I think Pristini 100% just uses it and challenges. But now with his teammates playing a little bit more passive, it looks like Pristini will just hold this angle.
And the question is, do they check it? Because now once they know the bomb has rotated out, they're going to start to swing around. This is going to be a disgusting flank. Depending on the time, Pristini should be able to get in behind 1 or 2 players here.
Oh my gosh, look at that mini-map. The one player just in front of me spots the corner. Pristini, though, snaps right over again. The first 2 kills in a moment's notice go in favor of EUNITED, and there's just nobody left for Envy.
How quickly? It's a slow build, and the hammer just falls, and it's over in a matter of seconds.
Yep.
You don't win a single, like all your one-on-one gunfights, basically every single one goes the way of EUNITED. That's insane.
It's a beautiful reaction time there by Pristini to get that kill towards that street, because if he loses that, think about it. That player then can flank through the top bridge, forces his teammates into a little bit of an awkward spot. Now it's a 3v3. Instead, though, EUNITED 4 rounds in a row, right? To now go up 4-1.
And again, it was a 6-1 victory for Envy the last time these guys played Search and Destroy. Looks like EUNITED has learned here, and again, first blooded. That's John. At least I think 3 out of the last 4 rounds he's been first blooded. 3 and 5, and he's one of the superstars in this particular mode. So they need John to step it up in a big way. Not that there's anyone really going off for EUNITED, but JCap is able to answer back, Jack.
Envy currently 9 and 18 as a team in this Search and Destroy. JCap, what can he do? He's already got 1 kill this round, currently sitting at 2 and 4 this entire game. And Apathy's been spotted, so if I know this EUNITED team, they're going to begin to fly at him and take him down while he's weak, but somehow he's stuck past 1. It's going to be Arcides versus Apathy and Slasher. He's in the 1v2.
Arcides, if he gets this clutch, this game too is just done for me. You have to close this out. Is for Envy. Let's take a look as he's going to be wrapping up top stats. Under 30 seconds to work with. He's added now a K-bar to his arsenal. You see Apathy and Slasher sticking together, playing this smart so they can trade out the kill. He checks the A site, realizes they have to be going towards B, and now the rotation gonna come in. Can he catch one as they get away? RC saw 1 cross. He's seen both players now, able to win the first gunfight. He has a Scarab to work with now. He thinks he's tagged up, so I thought he was gonna actually push him, but Apathy playing directly underneath.
Doesn't he have a K-bar as well? And does Apathy see him? I'm not entirely sure.
He should have spotted him. He had, maybe not.
I don't think he did. He was basically checking like this, and now he'll at least clear this first area of the map. So Arcides moving towards this objective as we swap.
God.
Does Apathy go and check in time? I do believe he will. Oh.
He sneaks away there and guns him.
That could have been deadly if Arcides gets behind cover.
I like the try, though.
Yeah, he might as well. Apathy with some awkward timings there nearly cost him. But in the end, he will win the round. Envy still back within 2.
Staying alive here. You see how focused Apathy and Slasher look as the rounds continue to build here in the Search and Destroy. Hopping into the next round, let's see what they can muster up here as they're going to be on defense. So let's check out Pristini, who has reactive armor to work with. Going to be very aggressive mid-map. Has to back away immediately. Gunless, though, finds the headshot. John answering back. Pristini looking to try and trade it out. He finds one, hits it. Can he get into another gunfight? He's going to re-peek, able to find it and gets it done. That's the 5th round for EUNITED.
From everything I've seen, there's just few teams better at those scrappy engagements like we're seeing from EUNITED. They're just always appearing to be in the right spot, snapping to get the right kills. And there, Pristini uses the reactive armor and okay, you know, maybe he didn't need to, but guess what? It won them the round, and now EUNITED are 1 away from giving Envy their first S&D loss this weekend. And currently, I mean, that's Search and Destroy, though, right? 4 hits, scrappy play, snapping onto the right call out there. Communication is key, but now Envy, their game 2 hopes at risk, and Cap hasn't even really gotten near to a camo, but his counterpart on the other side, Gunless, kind of in the same boat. Apathy now looking forward to his first reactive armor. That could be huge if a comeback is. And right there, another example where, you know, John just gets first blooded on Envy again. Here's a nice spot from Arcides. Oh, gosh, you can't let that happen. That's a game-saving play, though, from Slasher. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Wrap it around the back. Silly now with the Evo. This is probably the last position you want with this Evo. Well, he actually got the close range gunfight, but now it's going to be on Gunless. He's been a hero so many times, but now is not your time. Envy just narrowly staying alive here, and that might come down to that Slasher gunfight. He doesn't win that, which he shouldn't have. This is probably over.
Aven, I tell you, you said prior to that last round that if EUNITED take that and go up 5-2, you think this game is done. I will not count Envy out of an S&D until the last round is over and EUNITED win. Simple as that. This team can make anything happen. They were down 5-2, now 5-3, and they've got 2 payloads to work with as well, none on the side of EUNITED.
Sniper out for RCDs as he's trying to look down bridge. No eyes on him. It's going to be a gunfight. And that's the reactive apathy. He got it. He's able to make the gunfight, and now they keep it going, trying to pressure. How do you get the pistol? 80 gets away. 80 gets away. They're trying to chase him down, trying to get to the edge. I think RCD gets away with his life. What a huge play.
CWL holding an awkward angle. His gun sticking out from behind the wall, and he will be punished for it. FCL jump, still ready for Slasher. And there goes the scare.
He's going to jump in past him. Just do it. Whoop! No! Peeks the corner. That's another pistol kill coming in. It's now Apathy by himself. Apathy trying not to get gunned. Gonna be a 1v1. 20 seconds on the clock. It's the hero, Gunless, going up against Apathy. They were our key player matchup before, and he challenges Peaks. Can't win it.
EUNITED magic continues. They give Envy their first S&D loss. They've now got a 5-1 map count versus Envious so far this weekend between pool play and now the winner's bracket final. And this team of young, up-and-coming players is now 1 map away from the grand final.
Oh. And this is, again, they've been late game heroics when it comes to Uplink as well. We've seen so many tight games for EUNITED that can get it done. But before we start talking about the Uplink, let's take a look at the replay that we saw from the search and destroy. I mean, what was the big standout difference for you that Envy couldn't get it done?
Orsini for 1 and 2 was the first bloods. So many favored EUNITED. Even when Envy would get one, for example, that last round, John just immediately traded. And just every single time you see, just look at the top right scoreboard. It's basically Envy either even or at a disadvantage in kills.
Pretty much every round.
Yeah. A few times did you spot them putting themselves in a good position, and it showed in the rounds. Now, how do Envy bounce back? They get to win a respawn versus EUNITED. Now they've got 2 in a row, and Frost Uplink is one of them, which I'm pretty sure they're not too fond of, correct?
No, not real fond of, but they've played it a lot this weekend. So hopefully they've improved. You know, they put in a lot of time here on LAN, which obviously you'll see people kind of from Friday, Saturday to Sunday get better and better. But Envy needs some magic. The boys in blue need their fans. Come alive for them on Championship Sunday. But we'll be right back after this short break.
My cars, I'm selling all of my watches, I'm selling diamonds and all of that shit. Realize I don't need that shit. I'm trying to turn M's to B's in this bitch, and I ain't never paid to be with no bitch. I want that bridge.
is insanity. Welcome back to MLG Prime Time. It's your winners bracket final here. Championship Sunday at the CWL Atlanta Open as things get tight. But Envy, they're going to be tested now. But you got to think, if there's anyone in the game, I know we've seen crazy comebacks from a lot of teams. United, one that did a reverse sweep. Envy has to have just the strength muster here.
There's no question. There's two teams I want to see in this scenario who I think would have this potential to come back. Just want to remind everybody, this is not a loser's bracket match. This is the winner's bracket. If Envy does bow out here 3-0 or lose a series, they just drop to the loser's bracket final and await the winner of Uplink versus Luminosity. Last I saw, LG was up 1-0. I know they're mid-search and destroy. Right, not exactly sure where that stands if Optic or LG are in the lead, but either way, a very strong opponent. The loser of this will have down there no matter what.
That's tough too, because how many times have you seen, I can think back in sports, just historically, you have a big matchup where you have to get to a big high there, it goes the distance in a series like that. It's tough to then, like, you use so much energy, the adrenaline's so high, then to go to the next series, sometimes you see a team fall flat.
Yeah.
Curious if maybe Optic's falling into that a little bit.
I just received word. Optic fans out there will be happy to hear they did just take the S&D. So
okay.
1-1 now, which, to be honest, does not surprise me. Optic have looked abysmal at Hardpoint at times this weekend. Didn't Krim ask you for tips?
Yeah, okay, that was funny. So they've been struggling in Hardpoint all weekend, and I had only watched like half of the one match because we went to get food, and I come back, and Krim goes, Maven, what's going wrong with our Hardpoint? And I was like, buddy, if you're asking me, there's a problem. Yeah. But they go on and win the next two. So I'm pretty sure that my little words of solitude and advice there probably are what led them to Hardpoint.
You have as much game knowledge as my left shoe. So yeah. Krim's asking
which
you
is a ton. You got pretty big feet.
I do have pretty big feet. Thank you, buddy. But no, obviously Optic with their Hardpoint struggles, but where they great is their search and destroy, and where Luminosity have really struggled prior to this event was S&D. So 1-1 there, no surprise. But this match currently underway. That team on the left side of your screen, EUNITED, looks so darn good. Up 2-0, one map away from the grand final.
And this is a match where, this particular map, you're going to see sometimes a couple of ERADs come out here. Yeah. You have a lot of close range to mid-range gunfights, and that's been one thing I know that caught a lot of pros off guard. I saw, to think off the top of my head, Mochilla was talking about it. I think Shane as well, to some of the guys that were a little bit surprised by the pacing of the game here at Vegas, because the amount of aggression with the ERADs kind of caught them off guard.
Yep.
Which, honestly, it's sort of been something missing from the game, right? Having that fast-paced sub-player, it's always in your face. You haven't really had to deal with it for the first couple months of the game.
Well, United have been one of the better teams with it so far this weekend, even bringing out the Evo. It was funny, Maven, prior to this map starting, our director, who's been watching a lot more Call of Duty, has been getting into it a little bit more. He kind of comes in our comms and he goes, can EUNITED actually win this event? And I think a lot of people at home are asking themselves that. You and I are asking ourselves that. And at this point, the answer is yes. They actually look like they are going to win this event if they keep this play up.
Yeah, you got to think at some point it stops becoming a surprise, but just because the come out of nowhere that they did during the 2Ks, during this year, I was talking to Pac-Man about what they've been doing. He's like, there's never been a team in history that has come back like they've been able to.
Hey, we got some water.
Yeah, as soon
we got out of that lobby really fast.
As soon as we get off camera, we step up close to the TV. We're getting old. Our vision's not great as we sprinted.
I wasn't expecting us to get that afraid of being in the lobby, so I was finishing my drink. We're good.
All right, but now I completely lost track of my point. But yeah,
you were talking about
Pac-Man basically said that no team has ever kind of come out of nowhere like this, where all of a sudden they go from this is a relatively unknown team. I mean, yeah, you've heard of a lot of the players, but maybe not at the top. Like if you're a top professional player, you haven't worried about varsities if you're Crim6.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, within a month, it's like, oh, why are we seeing these guys every single semifinal and final of the 2K?
And that's the craziest part. Not only have these guys been great here, but we talk about their online presence. They've been in more grand finals appearances than almost anybody.
FaZe has been in 4. Oh, I can't think of this off the top of my head.
They've got to be at 3.
They certainly are right there. It's insane, and that's when it sort of shook for me. I've always been one that believes in the online player transition to LAN. I always have. You've seen it in a couple of the videos. I had faith that they would do well, but when it clicked for me was when it was like 3 in a row, where they had really good 2K finishes. Like, yes, do I think a team could have one run that's maybe just sort of a Cinderella story? Yeah, that happens all the time. But to do it consistently every week, you don't do that unless you're a good team.
That's where you start to take note. And now they've transferred it over to LAN again here. It looks like Apathy's not wearing pants.
And
okay. He definitely is.
Those flesh-colored khakis are really out there.
It's an interesting decision, but you know what? I don't judge.
And then we got Daenerys, the leader currently of the United.
Where his dragons are.
Drogo!
Yeah, right? Apparently he calls them in this weekend, but either way, what a pleasure it's been at the CWL Atlanta Open as we're getting underway with prime time. We've said it a few times, but I've been so proud of the production team and everybody here. Obviously, League Ops, everyone across the venue. I've been watching MLG events now for 10 years, been a part of them for really the last 2, and this is by far the best one I've ever watched or been a part of.
My first MLG was 2004 in Seattle. That is how old I am.
I was 12.
Yeah.
No, wait, 2004, I was 10.
You're 10 years old when I went to my first MLG. This has been a phenomenal event. You like to see it, kind of quality get better when it comes to matches. Then also, from a production side, tournament overall, I feel like every single facet from Vegas to here has just been upgraded. It's been brilliant. Adam Apicella and the crew have done a fantastic job, and our buddy Ryan Thompson behind the scenes from production. He doesn't get a lot of thank yous, a very thankless position at times, but he has been killing it all weekend long. It's been a fantastic event.
Major shout out to everybody here as well. The fans this weekend, been such a pleasure to meet so many of you guys out there. We've had some great crowds, so many things to do here in the venue as well. Obviously the open bracket, the new setup, PlayStation VR, which I've seen so many people take part in. The analyst desk revamp that we've seen with the coverage of the open bracket, and obviously the stats, more stats than ever before that we've brought into a broadcast. We're ready though now for the restart to Game 3, Frost, Uplink, EUNITED, Envious in your winner's bracket final.
And what also is crazy, we've got Atlanta this weekend. We fly home. I have to magically come up with plans for Valentine's Day. Hopefully,
Don't say that.
Hopefully Kat's not watching. Babe, if you're out there, I'll figure something out. My birthday's Wednesday.
Kat, expect to have a 6-pack of beer and some pizza.
Hey, that's for me, that's a beautiful Valentine's Day.
That's your normal Tuesday.
I'll probably end up seeing the new 50 Shades of Grey movie or something.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to this Game 3. EUNITED, they've yet to drop a respawn to Envy. They're 4-0 across the Hardpoints and the Uplinks they played. And now they look to keep that pressure going now. Because again, just like the optics, the phases, you cannot leave any opening for Envy to begin to come back into a game and series, because guess what? They will take that and run with it.
And you got to think United knows that very well, because they did that to Splice, right? They were down 2-0, and then they went 18-1 in Uplink. If you shatter someone's heart like that and just break them, it allows for that run. So let's see if maybe Envy is able to do that here. Or will we see United sitting at top 2 with Envy having to try and fight back, Jack?
I never thought that would be something that was said. I even had EUNITED coming into my top 4 this weekend. Gunless gonna fall back for now as he waits for his teammate in middle map to maybe clear that lane out for him. Won't happen as R-Cities does lose the 1v1 engagement to John, but Gunless tried to pressure towards that cliff side. It didn't work out there. And again, the Evo from Silly gets brought out in Uplink on Frost.
He loves it, man, and he's making good work of it. Drone gonna be now in the hands of Apathy. He's just kind of flirting with the outskirts there, trying to group up with his team as they begin to push forward. JCap gets one kill outside of Cairo. That's going to allow Cryo, is they're going to allow them to push forward, and now you're thinking about getting points on the board. Here comes the push out of Robo. Shots in, able to find one, but it's R-Cities answering with 2 of his own, but the 1-pointer is through. It's 4 down, but you get something on the board for Envy.
Not enough of a hold there for EUNITED. Beautiful stuff for Envy to at least get themselves a little bit of momentum, but you see right there, the goal on this map, get the drone, get it into Robo, get it towards sub-bay, move up with your teammates, and now you got to leave Locker in a Scarab. Unfortunately, I do believe the player who called us in is actually dead, so they will be able to answer back with a 1-point play of their own.
I was worried that might kill his. I thought that was going to kill his drone carrier for a second. When back
well,
there.
That's why he got it so close. He wound up not popping it early. Thankfully, smart heads-up play there. 1 minute and 30 seconds into this game, and still low scored.
R-Cities starting out beautifully. 8-3. He's got 1 more behind Dozer. Going to lose that gunfight as Slasher comes flying over the top.
Well, the one player should spawn.
Goes over the top.
Helipad, right?
Can we get a bounce? No. Oh. Not going to go through. Honestly, John, do you think he could have beat the spawn and maybe gone in for 2 there? He hasn't realized he's getting chased by 3.
Well, yeah, I was trying to look at and see exactly where they were coming up in that one, but I don't know if he would have gotten there in time. Tries for the 1, doesn't work out there, but either way, still got a ton of time to work with in this game. R-Cities 10-4, leading the map in slaying right now. No one remotely close to the amount of kills he's put up so far. Dude, every time I watch the Evo, I'm not impressed by it. Even there, when Erad gets that kill, I think a little bit quicker.
No, I think that as he just continues to melt, but I don't think the E-Rad's incredible. I mean, that's been the thing that, again, has shocked a lot of these players. They didn't realize how good it was. And it comes in, you see it seems like it's 3-bulleting people. It reloads so fast, gun up so quickly out of sprinting. It's phenomenal as a submachine gun, but silly. You know, Scump doesn't use it because he's not comfortable with it. Could be a similar story there, but look at Arcides again on defense.
He is going off right now. Double positive, 13 and 6 on another 3 streak there. Gunless, the lead blocker, at least gets 1. Not enough of a follow-up, though, so far from United, as Envy should be able to stop this pressure for the moment and keep this game, like, again, there. Takes so long to finish off that kill with the RPR Evo.
And this is what's interesting too, when you have these games where Gunless maybe isn't going off. Like he's having, you know, not an incredible first half. He's 5 and 6. Somebody else is picking up the slack, right? I know he's been consistent as hell throughout this weekend, but there always seems to be somebody there. I've seen Pristini have monster games. I mean, the only one I can think of that hasn't really been crushing is maybe Silly, but he hasn't been bad by any means. He's been doing some of the dirty work. We know he's under the weather. He's doing enough that they're winning their games.
Yes, and now see United didn't catch it on our screen, but they did throw it in for a 1, so they will get the lead with a minute and a half remaining inside number 1. I mean, EUNITED right now, they just look like a championship caliber team with the performance they are putting on, as they're just in form at the moment.
They heard you. Envy heard it, and they get a 1 point on the board to tie it. That was a 7 streak for John, and that is what they need from him. 12 and 10. We know he has that broken middle finger, and is like a guy, I believe he plays Claw, so some people ask maybe why that's tricky if you own a Scuff. If you play Claw, that's got to be painful in some capacity, I would think.
Oh, I've never played Claw myself, but to those who do out there, man,
I can't do it.
I don't even know how you make it possible. John tries to get the 3rd, doesn't work. Either way, 14 and 11, nice start from him. Him and Apathy again. This duo, when they're on point, Envy are one of the best in the game, and they're doing it right now.
Well, 40 seconds left in the first half. We'll see if anyone able to get a little bit of separation here. That's a couple kills coming the way of Envy, and now they're going to push around the top side. A little bit unorthodox, as usually you see most of the action in through sub bay, but they're going to see if maybe you can get a shot up over Cryo. John able to trade out the kill, and now it's going to be in Slasher's hands. Do they try and push through for the dunk? They found another kill. He's going to try and slip through. Will the interception be there? Will the 1-pointer be in? He didn't get it out of his hand.
Oh, gosh.
There's still some players from Envy to try and make this happen. Now they're all shredded. Nice defensive stand there from EUNITED.
And Arcides just resets it. There's not enough time for any play to be made off of this. So at the end of the first half, 2-2. I think both teams are really fine with that one. They can go into these final few minutes, see what they can do to convert this respawn game mode. Remember, we just watched EUNITED beat Envy in a game mode that they had yet to lose this weekend, which was Search and Destroy. But now on the opposite side of that, Envy have yet to win a respawn versus EUNITED, and now this is probably one of the closest they've been yet.
All right, you see Envy getting focused up here. Now, this map we know can be a bit 50-50, but I like kind of attacking towards that helipad side. I feel like I see more points go through. I guess I'm curious with your take on it with the swap. Still play pretty 50-50?
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's simple. It just comes down to slaying for that first middle map control, and then once you get it towards the robo side, really, no matter where you're converting from, as long as you get that second wave of kills, you can make plays happen. So I don't really take any map right now to be more, have a side that's less preferred, right? Yes, certain teams like to push from certain areas, but for the most part, as long as you get the kills on the map, you should be able to convert scores from no matter what position you're in.
Well, let's see what John can do with the drone in hand. He's running into a close-range ERAD. Tough fight to win when you have the K-bar and you're trying to juggle the drone. Slasher will be there to back him up. Spraying everything. Walls, but not players dropping. And now the 1-point toss and the lead has been broken open. EUNITED puts one on the board.
And look at the scoreboard right now. 5 of the 8 players in the lobby have gotten 1-point throws in. It's just selfless play. Whoever can grab it, whoever can get the score, just get it done. Every point matters. And these are examples of games, Clint, where if maybe a team botches a throw or they get a little bit too aggressive on a push and go for a dunk and it doesn't work out, it could cost them in such tight, low-scoring games like this.
And remember what I mentioned. They did it against FaZe and Uplink. They did it against Envy and Uplink. It's a late play from Gunless with Camo. That is what sealed the deal. And when you have a game this close, 3-2, it could be one pop of Camo that makes the difference, buddy.
And if you look at your scoreboard, he's close enough where he'll earn it again there. Throw bounces off the building. He knew he wasn't going to get that one, but he really didn't have much time to work with. So Gunless will absolutely earn that Camo again. I mean, unless he really does nothing for the rest of this map. But with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left, Envy need to start getting these kills near this mid-dozer area. They need to get control of the drone and really begin to dictate the pace of this game.
Well, if you take a look kind of at the time that's gone through in the game and where Cap and Gunless sit, they're halfway to that camo. They should be getting it somewhere with around 60 seconds or so left. So it is definitely going to be a clutch play with one of those two. Who's going to be able to pull it out? Watching Pristini now as he's getting eyes on mid-map, but unfortunately the flank comes in for JCap, so that's one more kill towards that camo, whereas Gunless finds one as well. He was
their best push yet.
For quite a while.
This is their best push yet. Aptly trying to make something happen with the drone. Hasn't earned the reactive yet. One more engagement win. No, he doesn't get it as of yet, and he does die off. JCap is there, but the trades go in favor of Arcitys and crew. Again, it's happened all this map, but Slasher swings with 2 kills of his own, and now Envy will look to grab the drone again.
Let's see if they can get something through. If they hit the top left side of the minimap, they might have been able to make a play quickly as the pressure was coming towards mid-map. Slasher needs help, though. He has 1 lead blocker in front. Apathy finds 2, but is it too little, too late? He's going to be able to get at least a 1-point toss off. He gets around the corner, gets around the edge, ties it up 3-3. What an individual play there from Apathy.
JCap is elite, man. That throw that goes on in. He's got the lead blocker from Apathy as well with the Evo. 30 and 18, Apathy starting to go off. He's taking matters into his own hands as we have ourselves a tied game with 2 minutes left.
All I've been staring at is the building of the camo between JCap and Gunless. They've sat at pretty much the exact same meter throughout the course. This one, look at their stats, 15 and 22, 15 and 20. They've been in the same spot. It's like one gets a kill, the other gets a kill. One gets a kill, the other gets a kill. It's been nuts to see how tight it has been for those two. One little spree here could be the difference towards the end of this game. It's going to come down to the wire, buddy.
They brought the drone to the outer wall run, too. I don't think United are ready for this. 3 go dead. Gunless is last one alive. He's trying to go supplement his teammates, and he's not there in time. He gets killed off. Slasher there with the lead block. This should be a potential score for Envy, unless United can get an interception or a crazy stop on this throw. It's a miss. It's a miss. It's what I talked about earlier. This miss could define the game. The beatdown from Silly, and now EUNITED are on the offensive.
Oh, God.
Another kill.
You should have the edge there, but now it may be the counter opportunity for EUNITED. They're pushing forward, but it's 2 kills coming in on defense, so Arcitys having to hit the wall run, try and stay alive.
Overdrive. He's got overdrive for this game as it goes on. They do try to force a scarab play to happen, and you're gonna see this player from United just blow it up and immediately try to make a play.
I don't think we're gonna see camo, actually. I mean, JCap and Gunless have been so quiet here. I don't think they're gonna build towards a second. So who's gonna be the hero?
Who will it be? Envy, they lose map positioning for a second. The drone now picked up. You've got Pristini trying to make something happen, but the pass didn't go off in time. Gunless is the last one here, 25 seconds remaining. Will we see ourselves in overtime? It's absolutely looking that way.
All right, it's gonna be JCap pushing back. He grabbed the drone there, tried to toss it forward, but he's got to deal with Silly first. Silly,
Great
though,
play by Silly.
with the Evo, makes the play. He has the FTL jump to work with.
This is a dunk.
He should be through. This should be a dunk. There's 5 seconds left. Is this going to be the 3-0? He puts it through.
Oh,
there's no time left.
Goodness. EUNITED in the final seconds. Envy miss a 1-point throw, and guess what? EUNITED capitalize on it. They beat Envy again, and they will be your first team in the CWL Atlanta Open Grand Finals.
It's like we